Donk Nation, Jackson, Janet's greetings and welcome to your daily dose of donkey with Ginger. It's your boy, the Viking Donkey, coming to bring you the Week 10 Donk Nation Power Index and Power Rankings. Laskers, Gingy did their homework, got me their top 10, so we are perfectly ready to go ahead and start with all the fun. As always, we will start with the Power Index. We'll go ahead and start at the bottom like normal. And we'll go really quick 32 through 20, telling you some fun tidbits. But before I start that, I want to start fun tidbits of the NFL. Martavis Bryant, former Steelers receiver, back in the NFL on the Dallas Cowboys practice squad after reinstated. And Carson Wentz found himself a new job finally. He's out there signing with the LA Rams, looking like he will get a start this week for them. And I guess that's all the fun NFL news I have going on. So let's start at the power rankings. Even though they've gotten off the snide finally and got a win at some point in there, Carolina still comes in at 32. The Bryce Young era has not started as well as C.J. Stroud for Houston. Arizona down at right above them. I mean, not much going on, but they should get Kyler Murray back. Let's see what happens there. The New York Giants just lost Daniel Jones. Above them, you have New England. I mean, not much to say. Mac Jones needs to start stepping up, and that defense needs to play better as they are a bottom 10 unit on both sides. Chicago, their offense is starting to slip without, well, numbers-wise, as you can see with how Justin Fields there, he's about to come back. Let's see what can happen there. Badgett hasn't played too bad as a rookie. The Rams, I mean, no quarterbacks playing there. Ripien was terrible. You get what you get. Denver on a little bit of a heater here. I mean, I think they had a bye this week, but a little bit of heater before that as Russell Wilson seems to be tuning that offense up, but still one of the worst defense in the league. Washington dropping down, no big surprise. They trade arguably their two best players and their two pass rushers, Young and Sweat. Vegas Raiders, new coach, winning ways. Good to see the Raiders go out there and give a good effort for Antonio Pearson, his first game as a head coach. Next up, you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers losing a heartbreaker. Baker Mayfield puts up 37 points, but the defense playing prevent just isn't a good idea to play prevent. It loses another football game. My goodness gracious, when our team's going to learn that prevent doesn't work? Tennessee, right above them, the loss to the Steelers, but a lot of people falling in love with Will Levis. Atlanta, right above them, got benched their young quarterback in Trevor of Taylor Heineke, who is that prototypical fringe starter. Above them, you got the Green Bay Packers finally getting a win, but the Love era has not been so nice to the Packers. And at 19 this week, we got the Colts. I mean, love to see what Richardson has, but I think he's done for the year. So Minshew really going to get a chance to prove himself. Above that, you got Seattle just got shellacked by Baltimore. Above that, you got the Jets, who also just got shellacked on Monday Night Football. I mean, oy, New York, what to say? Above them, you got the Chargers. Things starting to come around. That offense now forming into a top 10 offense. Still a little weak on the defensive side of the ball. But the Chargers are always going to be led by that offense. And Herbert's starting to really get it going. At 15th, you got the Houston Texans. I mean, what can you say? C.J. Stroud looks like the real deal early in his career, getting things done, scoring a lot of points. And if they could ever get the defense and offense, which are both top half units, to play together at the same time, that team could be scary. Oh, wait, they did have that once, the Steelers game. Right above them, you got the Steelers, who they beat. But the Steelers are buoyed by having a great record despite never outgaining opponents, giving up too many yards, not playing good enough defense, not playing good enough offense. But as the old saying goes, just win, baby. That's the Steelers' motto, it seems to be. 13, you got Minnesota. I mean, this is a team that's on the downward spiral, just injuries everywhere. But Josh Dobbs getting in there and pulling off a clutch comeback when having to come in for an injured backup quarterback there. New Orleans, Derek Carr's looking a little more comfortable. That defense is still a top 10 unit. And this might be the team to win the NFC South if Derek Carr can stay consistent in that offense. Above them, you got Cincinnati just outside the top 10. This is still a team that has a bottom 10 offense in terms of scoring right now, but is definitely trending in the right direction. Joe Burrow seems to really have it going there. At number 10, we got Buffalo. I mean, this team always seems to do this. You don't know what to make of them. They seem to lose games they shouldn't. They have the fifth best scoring offense, the fifth best scoring defense, but just don't seem to win football games. Above them, you got Miami, the best offense in the league, no defense. They were playing in Germany when they lost to Kansas City, so I'm not going to judge them too hard there, but they're still having a pretty good year. Above that, you got Cleveland, a pretty easy game in an Arizona team that was doing nothing. But that might be just what Deshaun Watson needs to get it going, is an easy opponent to get himself back in the groove of thing. And they have a top 5 defense. At 7, we have Detroit. This is a team that seems to take on their coach's mantra and Campbell, and they like to get out there and put up some points. The rookie Gibbs has looked great. Goff is just doing what Jared Goff does, being a steady, solid quarterback. And that defense is getting better. This is a team that could really, really run away with the NFC North now that Minnesota has some injuries. At 6, we have the Dallas Cowboys. They've fallen a bit, losing to Philly. Some bad calls go their way, but that's no excuse. You got to get out. You got to perform. They had a chance at the end, and they just didn't get it done. Above them, you have San Francisco. Maybe the bye week comes at the perfect time for the Niners right now, struggling winning games with another team with top 5 offense, top 5 defense that has been struggling recently, much like Buffalo. Jacksonville comes in at 4. Is this the year, a top 10 unit on both sides, that they finally get it done and really make a run at least a conference championship with Trevor Lawrence? I mean, best team they put out there since Blake Bortles was at quarterback. Philly comes in at number 3 on the power index, mostly because even though they have the most wins and a great offense, they have the 20th ranked defense in scoring, and they're not overly great in points against expected. I mean, they're barely 8th in that, so really they're not outperforming what you should expect. And this is where the rubber hits the road for Philly. Starting with Dallas, they have a tough stretch of games. This is a chance for them to put a stamp on being the best team in football. At number 2, we got Kansas City, which is led by the second best defense and not a top 10 offense. Who would have thought that with Patrick Mahomes? But that's where we stand today. And number 1 is Baltimore. 6th best scoring offense, the best scoring defense in football. Points against expected. They are the best team in football. This is a team that has been playing great, has been doing awesome, and is really, right now, you'd have to say one of those top 2-3 teams in the AFC, just like Kansas City. And that's why they rank number 1 in the power index. Now let's go ahead and get to Gingy's top 10 for the power rankings. He has Cincinnati at 10, Pittsburgh at 9, San Francisco at 8, Dallas at 7, Jacksonville at 6, Miami stays in at top 5, Detroit at 4, Baltimore at 3, Kansas City at 2, and Philly as the number 1 team. I have to give Laskers and Gingy both a shout out. They finally put Baltimore above Detroit. Love to see it. At Laskers, we have Pittsburgh at number 10, New Orleans at 9. I like putting the Saints in there the way they have been playing, Laskers. Dallas at 8, Minnesota at 7. Bold move to take a team that has lost 2 quarterbacks now into the top 10, but Laskers likes to be bold. Miami at 6, Detroit at 5, Jacksonville at 4, Baltimore at 3, Kansas City at 2, Philly at number 1. It looks like Laskers and Gingy did the whole copy each other's top of the homework, then change some answers at the bottom. And the power index, we already said, from 10 to 1, Buffalo, Miami, Cleveland, Detroit, Dallas, top 5, San Francisco, Jacksonville, Philly, Kansas City, Baltimore. That means this week in the Donk Nation Power Rankings, we have Minnesota, a new team coming in at 10. Pittsburgh, a new team coming in at 9, which means you saw 2 teams drop out, and those will be Buffalo and Seattle. San Francisco stays pat at 8. Dallas drops down 2 to fall to 7. Miami drops down 3 to fall to 6 after their loss in Germany. Detroit on the bye week loses 1 spot to go to 5. Jacksonville, get another win, goes up 3. Baltimore, another big blowout win over Seattle, moves up 3. And then the top 2 stay pat, as that's Kansas City and Philly. Of course, I forgot to say the biggest movers in the power index this week. So we'll go ahead and knock those out really quick. The biggest movers for the power index this week was down 7 spots. You had your Seattle Seahawks. And coming in up 5 spots this week, zooming up to mid-pack, was the Green Bay Packers. So that does it. That is the conclusion of our Power Rankings Power Index. There was no bug cap this week because we did it last week, and there is no game for us on Sunday. But be sure to tune in as we have, of course, Steelers talk coming to you this week. Donk Nation, Jackson Jennings, I love y'all. It's that time. Wave them if you got them. Let's go, Steelers. Here we go.